All right, let's get it. We got a little bit of a birthday month. Honestly, we've got birthday month going on between me and Andrew. Today I turned 28 years old.
Heyo.
I was thinking, because it's not necessarily a birthday that feels good, because I'm 30 at this point. I am 30. 27 was the dividing line. I was thinking though, I was like, how can I spin this positive? And I was thinking, I think I will make the claim that I'm probably maybe like top 1,000 coolest guys in LA that are 28 and unemployed. That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm spinning this positive. I'm the top 1,000 because there's a lot of cool people in LA.
Is that just in Santa Monica, or is this the whole entire extended LA?
I'm saying LA. Okay, maybe just the west side. I don't know. LA County's pretty big.
Don't sell yourself short.
I'm gonna say all of if you write Los Angeles as your city, yeah. I'm top 1,000.
Top 1,000 coolest guys that are unemployed.
And 28.
Yeah,
so those are some good filters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll be accepting an award. Okay. Well, let's just get it cracking, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to talk at all about Thursday night football? I mean,
not really. I mean, like,
yeah.
How long do you think Russ plays the whole season or no?
Dude, Sean Payton fucking hates Russ. You can just see it. He hates him.
They treat him like a rookie quarterback that they don't want to throw it that much.
I know.
Kind of like have to, right? Like, and you know what he's doing? He's doing what people like thought he would when he entered the NFL, like a ton of batted down passes, a little inaccurate. Like that was the worry about him going into the NFL, and he's just kind of doing all that now. And I feel like he is such a head case in general, like all this like God shit and meditation or whatever. Like it's not terrible stuff, but like I don't know. I just kind of see him as a guy that gets in his own head a lot, and it's clearly part of the problem, I would assume.
Yeah, but that's what it looks like. It looks like he is like the most in his head of all time.
He has no emotion.
He has no emotion, and he had, in his own weird way, he had swag in Seattle. He had his kind of just, his sort of like, it was kind of a God swag. He had like this God swag of like, as a Niners fan, it was like, you can't give the guy the ball back with 3 minutes left or even like a minute left, because he was going to use God's force against you and he was going to drop it right in the bucket to Tyler Lockett and just end your dreams. But now, he seems like he's terribly in his head. Just like you said, he's got just like a blank expression on his face, and it's just like it looks like, maybe like that kid in, when we were younger, whose like dad was a coach and was too hard on him, and he's just out there like trying not to make mistakes. Like that, there's that one 4th down where it was like 4th and 3, and like he like just like rolled out and like just kind of went out of bounds. Like he
that's literally yeah. Like, that's like when you're at your worst though, when you're playing not to make mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like Sean Payton, he's definitely a huge asshole, or like from what I've heard, and he inherited him, right? Like this wasn't his decision. So number one, he can blame it on that, being like, you gave me this guy and he sucks. And number two, if he's the dick that like what I've heard, then he's probably just a motherfucking asshole to this guy. Like you've seen, like growing up, like you've seen if the coach is just a dick to a guy, like he's probably just fucking doing that realistically. And they're not winning games, and their defense like didn't play awful yesterday.
No,
but how about the Chiefs? How about the Chiefs just being like the Steelers these days,
dude?
They're like the Steelers, or like the old Steelers. It's like super good defense and like above average offense. But they're
even
kind of trending the opposite way, because in the past they have like started super hot, like always starting 5-0. I mean, they are fucking 5-1, but Like they dropped that first game, and part of me thinks that Andy Reid is like, he ran so many trick plays last night, like 2 of those direct snaps to Tony, the one where he threw and then the 4th down. It's
Dude,
like
how about the Noah
almost like, are they
Gray one?
experimenting?
The
Yeah,
tush
like
push with Noah Gray.
yeah, are they like experimenting a bunch of shit? Like, what is it? Just doesn't seem. I mean, we just haven't seen the Chiefs that is or was the Chiefs in the past. But like, I don't buy this shit. Like, oh, he's just experimenting. Like that game came down to the last drive. Still, like the Broncos had the ball down 8, so I don't really buy like that. They're not like trying that hard, or whatever. Like this is the fucking NFL. Like you're here to win games. You play once a week. Like I don't buy that shit at all.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I guess the big takeaway is like Kelsey looked healthy. That was the best he's looked this year because he's looked kind of lumbering. Their weapons again, like Rashee Rice. I don't know. Like Pacheco looks incredible.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, their receivers are pretty doo doo. Their defense is top five for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're going to go get a receiver for sure, dude. They need some help.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but yeah.
What I feel like they'll pick up someone from a team like Jerry Jeudy, for example, some team that's out of it, throw them a pick. Like they need some help, dude. Rashee Rice, is that your number one? Like it is, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's got to be maybe the worst number one in the league.
Yeah.
Behind like Texans and Cardinals.
Well, I just don't really like.
And Tank Dell's better than that guy, and Nico Collins. So like, besides the Cardinals, he might be the worst number one receiver in the league on a team.
And I guess you could say, well, they have Kelsey.
I'm not counting Kelsey, obviously.
Yeah. But who is like I just don't know like what receiver is like out there to be had. Like usually those guys are like the guys that are maybe 33 on the, that it's like they're on their last leg.
Yeah. You also kind of just take like the worst team and someone like Jerry Jeudy, who's like 3rd year into his rookie contract and like potentially hasn't worked out that well. And then also just looking at shitty teams, but I'm not seeing. Oh man.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make a trade up right now. What?
Do
you think Hopkins could get traded again?
No. No. I mean, look, like the worst teams, like there's no one on the Panthers, there's no one on the Cardinals, and then is like there's no one on the Vikings really, unless the Vikings are willing to ship someone.
What's up, Carlo? Dude, there's like the Panthers, like quote unquote, have no receivers, but like DJ Chark would be the number one on this team. Laviska Shenault would be the number one on this team.
He's getting pretty old, dude.
Who?
Shenault.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean,
yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else. I mean,
do you go
Van Jefferson?
I don't know. Do you go get? I'm just like, I feel like the Vikings are going to be willing to ship people. Like, do you go get Osborne? I mean, you're grasping at straws here, but like, you cannot have Rashee Rice as your number one receiver.
I know. I guess they just kind of wait it out and hope like some team explodes and then they can just scamp someone away.
Yeah, I was thinking like if the Raiders end up sucking, go get Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, by the way, what a like misevaluation by the Patriots. Like,
dude, they don't evaluate talent well. No. I don't think.
Bill Belichick washed. All right, well that's probably enough on that game. Yeah. Chiefs are just kind of an annoying 5-1.
No, I mean that as expected.
All right, so let's go out to London town, or I don't even know if this is in London.
Yeah. Next 2 games are in Germany, but yeah, this is last London.
Titans Ravens. All right, we got Baltimore favored by 4.5. King Henry returns to his native country. Or something. I think that's the nickname. But yeah, so I don't really have a super strong take on this game. I would just say if I was forced to bet it, I'd just bet Baltimore because these games are kind of like the Thursday nights where the big favorites just usually cover the international game unless you're the Jaguars and you've spent 2 weeks there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the story last week was all those drops, but like I don't really see a world where that happens again. And I think Lamar had like over 100 passer rating. Like they calculated like if all those drops didn't happen, a few of them are going to happen. But dude, I think the Ravens kind of roll in this game. Like you said, the favorites always kind of win, and they're just clearly the better team. The Titans' offenses look pretty fucking bad, and Ravens are a super physical team. And I think it might be similar to last week where like the Colts did it. It's like you're not going to beat us with Henry. Like Tannehill throw the ball, and not all teams can necessarily do that, but I feel like the Ravens are definitely one of them. So, I mean, and I don't know. We always say London games are pretty weird. That's obviously because there's no necessarily home team, but I also just look at it as like who's the better team here. Like I don't want to hear all this stuff about who traveled when, like all this, like who stayed longer in London. It's like, okay, just bet on like who is the better team. And I think the Ravens win by like a touchdown. It's one of my 5.
It's kind of weird because like I simultaneously think that the Ravens are overrated, but also like clearly that Steelers game was just weird. It was just a weird Steelers game. So it's just a kind of a good spot for the Ravens. And then, I mean, you could make the argument Vrabel's awesome as an underdog, but I don't know. I'd say roll Ravens.
I know they have one of the worst like strength of schedules. It's like at 27, but they're still like their offense and defense is ranked in the top 10. And like, I just like that was such a weird game last week. I mean, 2 drop touchdowns. Aguilar had that huge drop. Zay Flowers had a couple. I just don't really see that happening again. And I really don't think the Titans are that good. They're not going to make the playoffs. I think, I don't know how hot of a take this is. I think they might be bottom 10 in the league.
I mean, I still feel like they're going to win like 8 games and be annoying. Let's just move off this game because it's honestly pretty boring. This is another pretty boring game. Falcons at home -2.5 versus the Commanders. So
I kind of like this game weirdly.
Yeah, I mean, I just like it for like information. Like, all right, let's see. Like, is this really just some weird thing where he's just so good at home? Like, like maybe. And so I want to see like, can he stack together another good week? And then I guess like how real are the Commanders? Like, is Rivera like? I mean, they won those 2 games early, but like, is Rivera potentially on the hot seat? I don't know.
Just lost to the Bears.
Yeah, that's bad. Like I want to see if does Heineke just get sacked a million times again versus the Falcons, who I mean they have a good defense, but
yeah, I cannot believe Ritter still has not lost a home game in college and NFL. I think the Commanders are one of those teams, maybe like the Titans. That's why I was a little scared of the Titans this week, where it's like almost every other week they're like either extremely shitty or just like look like a pretty decent team and pull out a win. I'm taking the Commanders. I saw it at 3 and took that. I like that. It's going to be a super close game. I think it's entertaining. This is definitely the like game where because we're far enough along where this is a game of which team is like actually for real. It like it's one of those feelings.
Okay, yeah, I like that narrative.
Because like if the Commanders drop to 2 and 4, I'm gonna probably write them off. But then if the Falcons like go to 4 and 2, it's like we're kind of at that week where I mean you consider them like a playoff team. I already potentially do just because of that division. But I think the Commanders are gonna win upright or like outright.
Oh shit!
I think the Falcons like completely get exposed for being like a very, very average team. And I really question their coaching, still splitting the carries with Bijan. Like I completely question like all knowledge in a coaching staff. I understand he runs like a lot of the receiver routes, but he's just clearly the better player. Like it should be 75-25. And I think they're missing out like on so many opportunities by just handing it off to him.
Algier. They're just trying to get him going.
Well, he hasn't really gotten going. And I'm pretty sure so the crazy stat I saw is Bijan is averaging more yards per carry after contact than Algier is just straight up carries,
Yeah.
like yards per carry. And I understand he gets the receptions, like I've heard that, but like I don't know, it just really is questionable to me. And if their defense doesn't hold up one game and they have to come from behind, I don't really see it happening.
Yeah, it's just I don't really know how good their offensive line is, or if defenses are just stacking the box because it seems like Bijan, like he's like saved his fantasy season just by like getting these like sick little touchdowns, but
Mhm.
yeah, you just don't really see him. I'm keep waiting for like the breakaway Brees Hall, like, 40-yard touchdown, and it just doesn't really happen. So it'll be interesting. I kind of want to see them like use him more as like I want to see them both on the field at the same time. Like I want to see Algier and Bijan on the field. That would
Yeah,
be
like a
sick.
2 running back set. But you know why you haven't seen that potentially is he's not getting as many opportunities as other people.
Yeah.
Like, has there been a game where he's gotten 20 carries? Like maybe right on the dot at 20. I think I saw that one week, but
Yeah.
um
It's
the
just there's
tickets are pretty split here between the teams. It's leaning like a little towards the Falcons, which makes me like happier with the Commanders. Like I feel good with them getting 3 points. And like
so is that one of your best bets, even though it's at 2.5 right now?
yes, it
Okay.
is.
Dope.
And I think you could potentially see a quarterback change for the Falcons.
Dude, I'm
I'm
just
getting behind that.
I'm hoping for it.
Yeah.
Need Heineke. All right. Next game, Vikings Bears. Just pretty shocking that actually they have the same record. They're both 1-4. Bears at home. The line is Minnesota -3. It's gone up to 3. This is still one of my best bets. Got to take Minnesota -3 here. I just refuse to believe that everyone in the world just talked them. That was smart. Just basically said Justin Fields is over. They're
Mhm.
going to get a new quarterback, and then he's had 2 weeks, and they only won one of the games. I mean, they still have only won like one game in a calendar year, and all of a sudden they're only 3-point dogs at home. And like,
Yeah.
yes, Jefferson's out, but Jefferson was out for a good majority of that Chiefs game, and even though the Vikings didn't put up that many points, they still put up 20, and the Chiefs are a good defense. The Bears are not. The Bears are ass. The Bears let up like 20, 30, 40 points. So
Mhm.
I think KJ Osborne, Hawkinson, that it'll be enough. And of course, whatever, Addison, right? Yeah, Jordan
Yeah.
Addison.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that I mean this all the smart people are saying like this Vikings team's like uh no worse than the team last year. So yeah. Unless I would say the only way that this doesn't cover is if like last week really was kind of like the dream crusher for the franchise. Like it was like, okay, now we have no chance. We're going to 1-4. It was another game we could have won. Jefferson's done. Cousins is already starting to get asked about getting traded and there's no trade clause and shit. So that would be the only thing I would handicap. But you got to think that the Vikings are going to win this by more than the field goal.
Yeah, I forget like last year, I think like all of their games but 4 were one-score games and they won like all of them except for one.
Yep.
And this year it's been the exact same. Every single one of their games has been one score and they've lost 4.
Yep.
So it's not like they're this terrible team. And it's like,
And they have a zillion turnovers. Like,
yeah, like their first quarter turnovers are so fucking ugly. And there's no way 3 points against the Bears. I looked at this line and I was just like, I'm overthinking this. Like the
yeah.
Vikings will like hopefully like they should destroy them. And this whole thing that everyone's getting on this narrative, Fields is back. Yeah, right, dude. He had one good week against the Commanders who are not sure if are real yet. And that's why people overreact so much. Like just because he had one good week, like let's talk about the previous 4 where they could not move the ball. They looked absolutely horrendous and got shredded apart like in the media for good reason because they were terrible. And just because you have one good week on a weird Thursday night game against the Commanders, I'm sorry, but you're not back. You still have one win.
Dude,
And there
also,
are games where they have not been in it at all versus the Vikings have been in every single game. Go ahead.
Yeah, and like everyone that was watching that game, like if you added a quarter to that game, like the Bears would have lost. Like all the
Yeah.
momentum was going the commies way. The Bears kind of stopped making moves except for that last DJ Moore touchdown prayer.
Yeah.
Also, the Bears are just cluster injuries at running back. Like
Mhm.
that's a thing. Roshan Johnson's going to be out. Khalil Herbert's out. It's
Yeah.
going to be like Devontae Foreman or whatever.
That
So
sucks.
that
Like
sucks, dude.
listen to these scores. Versus the Bucks lost 2017, at the Eagles 34-28, versus the Chargers 28-24, at the Panthers 21-13, won that, and then Chiefs 27-20. Like Eagles and Chiefs one score games, like lost to the Bucks who look pretty decent this year and lost to the Chargers by 4. Like I don't know, like, and there's still a bunch of talent on this team, and I just think everyone's just completely overthinking it because they're 1-4. And I cannot believe that public money is on the fucking Bears.
Yeah,
Blows my mind.
that's disgusting.
But
Well, yeah,
this is a game
they
that
should
won't be
roll.
showed that much on Red Zone, I assume.
Yeah, probably not. Will not be in my YouTube box. All right, next game is Seahawks at Bengals. This is the best matchup we've gone over so far. This is a
I
great
wrote
game.
down game of the day.
Game of the day.
Game of the day.
Yeah, so you got the Seahawks off a bye. The Seahawks turns out are a good ass team. And
As
then
expected. Geno
as
Smith pod.
Geno Smith pod, and then but also the Bengals. Joe Burrow looked like 90% of Joe Burrow last week,
Mm-hmm.
and the defense looked good. So if that's the case, then I mean, this could be like they could really just like be getting shit rolling. So I don't know what you feel about this game. I could be talked either way. The line
Yeah.
is Bengals -3.
So first the over under is a little weird to me. Like 45 seems a little low, which I don't know why, but all Seahawks games tend to go in that direction unless they're playing the Lions. But I looked at it and I did hear this and I just confirmed it, but the Bengals started super slow their last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Super slow. And on top of it this year, Burrow was completely injured. And that's not even like we're saying that. Like he was limping on the field.
Yeah.
And he looked completely back to normal last week. I'm taking Bengals. I'm just taking the home team here. Like it's going to be a close ass game. I'm hoping this gets to 2.5, but money's on the Bengals, so I don't see that happening. I was expecting this line to be 3.5 Bengals, which means like Vegas would have known they're for sure winning. But I don't really think you can do that with the Seahawks because, like, I'm pretty sure the Seahawks have completely fucked Vegas this year, as they always do. Yeah, 3-1 against the spread because they always underestimate them, and I just don't think they're going to do it again. But like, this is 100% game of the day material. Like, there's no way the Seahawks blow out the Bengals. I don't really see the Bengals like pulling away and winning by 10 at all, which tends to happen sometimes with the home team. I think this goes way over, in my opinion, like way over 45. I potentially think this is going to be like, I could see like high 20s game, and obviously it's just wishful thinking on my end. But I mean, Jamar Chase looked completely back into form last week. So did Burrow. Like I think you just kind of ride that hot hand. But Seahawks are coming off a bye. But like, I don't know, how much does that really matter? Like sometimes you just pick the team that like came off like a good win and looked good and just ride that momentum.
Yeah, like this early in the year, I really don't think that the buy coming off the buy thing means nearly as much. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why like these London teams like the Jags are like they spent 2 weeks in London and they said no, we don't want our buy after or before. Like that's crazy. So yeah, I don't think the buy makes that much of a difference except for like maybe they work Charbonnet more. Maybe we finally see Juju or not Juju, Jackson Smith and Jigba like involved in the offense. I don't
Yeah,
know.
where has he been? He's on my fantasy bench. That's what he's
Dude,
been.
they don't throw the ball to him like past 3 yards. So this is going to be one of my 5 best bets. I'm going Bengals. Obviously, would love it more at 2.5, but even at 3, I'm just betting on just I'm betting on Burrow, a healthy Burrow.
Yeah.
And I think this line should be closer to 5.5. But I think that people are still a little bit slow onto like, and it makes sense. He's in Paris. Uh, I think it makes sense why people are like not all in on the Bengals yet. They like need to see it for another week. But in my mind, like part of the reason why they got off so hard last week was that Arizona just cannot get to the quarterback. And I think that the Seahawks have like a pretty good, like all of their stats pass rush wise are actually good this year, but it's like
Yeah.
totally phony because they got like, I don't know, 8 sacks versus the Giants who can't block anybody. And then the week before that, they got like racked up a bunch of pressures versus the Carolina Panthers, who also have a
Mhm.
terrible line. So I kind of think that Joe's going to be pretty clean this game. And I'm just betting on this Bengals team being back. And yes, Hunter said he got them winning division at plus 550. That is fantastic value. I got them Sunday after the game. I just talked myself into this Bengals narrative. I got them at 4-1. So my book is fucking me. But I also threw some money on Joe Burrow to win MVP, 40-1, and AFC, win the AFC and win the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, I don't really think they have that much of an advantage in the pass rush. Like the Bengals pass rush has been good. That Hendrickson guy is unreal.
yeah, he's dope.
But I don't think, either team like it's amazing, but I don't think like you said, I don't think there's much of an advantage there. But like the one thing that worries me about the Bengals is just fucking Joe Mixon, like the classic 20 carries, 75 yards. But I just think it's gonna be like 40 throws for each quarterback, and that's what I hope. And just I don't know, just a fantastic game.
Yeah, it's going to be fire. Okay, next game, 49ers Browns. So I thought this was going to be a fun game. I thought this was going to be like a close, fun game where I was going to maybe take the Browns. But now it's like Watson's out. So, I mean, it's supposed to be like 20-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be super rainy. So, maybe that lends to like a slightly lower scoring game, but it's just tough with PJ Walker, Texas Ranger out there. I mean, I
Oh,
will say I do like PJ Walker just based off of Carolina last year. Like he was so much better than Darnold, and he actually like their offense kind of went, and he's far superior to DTR, but I don't know. It's 9.5 now. So that's basically saying that Watson's not going to play.
oh, he's out. They
Oh,
ruled him out.
they ruled him out. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
why it's at 9.5. Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't really know what to think. I mean, like if I had to play something, I don't know. I probably would still lean Browns plus 9.5 and just think the Niners, win by 8 in kind of a lower scoring game.
yeah. I mean, Vegas, like all the money's on the Niners. I saw it's like around 90%. So this is a game they have to pay attention to, and they already adjusted the line. So who knows? Dude, I got Niners -5 on Monday.
Ooh, dude, yeah, they're
I saw
over.
something on The Athletic, or it might have been Tuesday, where it was just like Watson still hasn't been back to practice.
Yeah,
And then just hit Niners -5.
I mean, dude,
It
the
was on The
Niners have
Athletic, which is just very good source of truth, and got him at -5.
the
Great.
Niners have scored like 30 points in I think like every but like one of Brock Purdy's starts, and the over
Yeah.
under for this game is 36.
Yeah, dude. Like, what is the actual weather report? Like, I was gonna talk to you about this. Is I feel like weather's talked so much, like big games, like,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it just ends up being like a non-factor in a way,
Yeah,
or like it feels like a non-factor because it's talked about so much. And like this kind of plays into the Niners game a little bit, like a physical ass game. Everyone's like, oh, the Browns are so physical. It's like, so are the fucking Niners, but they're good at so many things. It's not the only thing you talk about because the Browns are pretty average and that's their best thing. So that's what everyone only talks about. When
yeah,
realistically, the Niners like are potentially the most physical team in the NFL. Like,
yeah.
did you see there's 11 injured Cowboys this week?
Oh, I know,
We
I
talked about
know.
that last week. Like 11 injured Cowboys because someone last year, for anyone who didn't listen last week, someone last year like just brought out this point of just like how many injured Niners there were like after games, and it was just like always like 8+, not rooting for injuries, but just saying like how physical they play. And the Cowboys are completely banged up. So I don't really like, everyone's talking about how the Browns are this physical team that playing shitty games. Well, the Niners are a better defense and just as physical. So I hate like how the public money is, but I'm just gonna go Niners 9.5 here. I do have -5, which is crazy. But if I were to bet the game how it is, I would go Niners. Like PJ Walker last year, I kind of forgot about it, but like you said, he wasn't that bad. Like the Panthers kind of moved the ball last year, but if the weather is really that bad and the winds are like that, and the Browns are just going to run the ball and they want to play the run game, the Niners will destroy him in that. Like
Yeah,
I
and it's
think
like
they win the game, or not win the game. Jesus Christ, I think they stay in the game if like they pass the ball well. Like if they just want to run the ball, the Niners are going to shut that shit down.
yeah, like and also Amari Cooper, obviously they're far and away their best weapon in the passing game is like a total little bitch when it comes to cold weather. Just a notorious thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just wild. I mean, the Niners, this is what makes it like difficult to Browns TT is 13. Oh, over under, I'm guessing.
Team total.
Team total. So since McCaffrey's first game as a starter, if we throw out that the Eagles game, which should be thrown out, the Niners are 17-0. So that's just a full perfect season. They're 14-3 against the spread. And
Jesus.
it read and these against the spread margins are crazy. It reads like this: plus 15.5, -2, plus 18.5, plus 4.5, plus 11, plus 24.5, plus 5, plus 10.5, -7, plus 10.5, plus 8.5, plus 3.5, -0.5, plus 7.5, plus 4.5, plus 28.5. So they're averaging plus 8.41 ATS margin in all of these games.
Jesus Christ.
So it's
That's
like,
what scares me.
yeah,
That's what scares me, because if that happens, then Vegas really pays attention to the line, right?
I know. But it's like
And
it's just crazy. Like you need to go back and look at that Cowboys line. The craziest thing about that, like thinking back on last week, was that was the same line it was the same exact line as the Cowboys 49ers playoff game. And it's like, how have you not, how did they not, how is it not Niners by
minus
-4,
5.
-4.5? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, they've looked by far like the best team in the league. Like everyone has Chiefs top 3, and I know maybe that ranking's based on them not like living up to what they could be, but I don't really care about that. Like I
yeah.
care about like how good they've looked. Like they're the definition of a complete team.
And just shockingly healthy. Like every year they always have like just a
Knock
crazy
on
amount of
wood.
injuries. Yeah, knock on wood. Well, the Browns defense, they do have some like insane statistics. Like I think last week was the first time that a team has had a goal line opportunity versus them this year. Pretty crazy. And
Damn.
then also if you just go by success rate, which is like basically, success is a first down. So like even if like you end up, getting stopped on fourth and you kick a field goal, that still is counted as like a not successful drive. Like I think the average success rate in the league was like 70%. And the Niners are like far and away first at like 83, 84%. And then the Browns defense is like far and away the best at holding opponents. So it's like 22% under the even with that Ravens game. So like less than half of like drives that get started versus the Browns don't result in a first down. So I mean, I think the Browns D does deserve some respect. It kind of sucks because like they're like one of these fun teams like the Bengals that you could kind of talk yourself into like, you know what, if they get Watson back, like this could actually be like a team that just comes out of nowhere and could maybe make the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. But it just seems like they're getting kicked in the nuts. I mean, the fact that Watson, like his injury came out of nowhere and all of a sudden he wasn't starting, and then he's had a whole entire bye week and he still can't play. That is scary.
What's going on, dude? There's something going on.
He needs a massage. He cannot get one.
because there was he was like a late scratch
So late.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it came out of nowhere. And
Yep.
now, like, and he's not like around the team, I guess. So something's going on, and it's absolutely sketchy. And it makes like it just raises more questions to me because of his past. Could just be completely biased there, but it doesn't make much sense. Dude, Purdy's still not getting the respect he deserves after that win.
Okay.
There's still people saying like
Yeah.
there's
It's
still
true.
people saying he's a system quarterback, but
I know. I just don't want to go too hard on it because there are like I have seen like some stuff that was like maybe a little wild to say get
yeah.
said. Somebody said like best quarterback in the league. Michael Irvin said better than Herbert. Like
Ooh.
for the system, I mean, if you want to get down to like a real hypothetical of like just if every system in the league was the Shanahan system, like he might be top 4, top 5, like just in terms of like what he's good at is the Shanahan system. So I don't know, but
Whatever. You guys are 5-0.
yeah, 5-0. They're gonna win again. Okay, then we got a This is one that I just do not want on my television. Dolphins home versus the Panthers. Dolphins -14.
I thought we wanted Dolphins games on our TV though.
No, but then not like this. Like I don't want this. I didn't want the freaking Giants game. Like it's just
It was still more fun to watch than other games though, just because of the
true.
big plays.
True. No,
But I guess
Achane.
Achane out, so like it takes away a little bit, but still just watching Tyreek like potentially explode is still pretty fun.
Yeah.
It might just be like a you don't want to watch in the second half game. Do you think like how much does Achane like matter at this point? Like, because going into the season, he was not talked about. I'm not sure what he was on the depth chart because like he was definitely third because of Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
And now he's their RB1, but like knowing that now, what is like his impact and like is it moving a line and all? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, maybe a half point.
Yeah.
I mean, he still was only getting like 13 touches, but he just was turning that into 150 yards and 2 touchdowns every game.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, with Jeff Wilson back, I mean, they still have Mostert. It's But I mean, do
Yeah.
you have a pick on this game? I mean, I think we both just feel
This is
like
a
Dolphins are
complete
gonna roll.
yeah, this is a complete stay away game. I think maybe knowing like everyone thinks that the Dolphins D is like not as good, but like I get on PFF, it's ranked a top 10 defense. And I was
Fangio.
thinking maybe before I saw that Bryce Young might have his first like okay game, but I think he has another stinker. And
Come on, Bryce.
yeah, like I'm waiting for him to show like any sign of being relatively good.
Just one sign. Yeah.
There isn't like crazy throws to show.
No,
He
not
looks
one
like
crazy
Russell.
thing. He looks like
Now,
Russell.
I was thinking Kyler, but he doesn't look like Kyler because there's no explosive plays running.
No.
And Kyler had some explosive plays, like throwing the ball down the field.
He's showing nothing that.
And I'm talking about this year, Russell, not Seahawks, obviously.
Yeah, for like anyone that doesn't pay attention to college football, like it must just seem like what, this does not make like why the fuck did this guy go number 1? Like it is such a quick, like
he was so like he was really good in college and was so accurate, made crazy throws. And on top of it, dude, he was playing in the SEC. Like this wasn't like a Jordan Love playing at Utah State. Like this is completely different. Like he was playing against a bunch of NFL players. So I will see what happens with that guy, man. But yeah, the Dolphins are gonna fucking roll. But this is another game too. Like 91% of the cash is on the Fins.
I mean, because that you're just gonna have a bad Sunday if you bet the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like last
I made that mistake last week, dude. I just bet on the Giants because I favored the public, but that was just so tough to watch.
Even with the pick 6 right before halftime.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Because lines rarely get last thing I'll say, lines rarely get more than 14.
Rarely.
So like if you could buy it down to 13 and a half, like I don't know, just kind of betting on the Dolphins to roll.
Yeah, or just live bet it. Wait
Worst
for
game
like
of the
the
day.
Panthers. Yeah, terrible game. All right, let's get to maybe the second best game that we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
We are a Colts podcast. This is my
Yeah.
ultimate 5-star best bet of all the best bets this week.
Oh
Line
man.
is Jaguars -4.5. The Jaguars, I believe, have won 11 straight at home versus the
Yeah.
Colts.
Are
Give
we
me the
gonna be
fucking
opposite ways?
gang. Give me the fucking Colts.
Yeah. Give them to me.
uh,
Give them to me.
so I,
Minshew returning home, but go ahead.
yeah, Minshew revenge game. Also, just you can't tell me that there isn't some. I mean, I, I'm not that high on the Jags. Did have them as one of my best bets last week versus the Bills, but that was entirely the spot just because they got to stay over in London for 2 weeks, and the Bills decided to like do like an all nighter on like Friday night or some stupid shit like that. But this is again, I mean, what a horrible spot. They were in London for 2 weeks. Now they have to come back to Jacksonville, and not just that, they then have to turn around and play Thursday night. It's
Yeah.
like the worst spot in the history of spots. Gardner Minshew he has a full week to practice. He's not being thrown into the game. Yeah, I don't understand how you could possibly not bet Colts, and it's weird because the line's moving towards the Jaguars.
Yeah. Well, the reason I like all the cash is on the Colts.
Mm.
So like maybe like smart money's on the Jags, but dude, Minshew is if this line is different with Minshew, like versus AR, I mean, I know Vegas is smarter than that.
Yeah.
Like Minshew's just better. The Colts have a fire run game. Now
Liar, dude. Another
they're
week
just
of
splitting
JT.
carries with Taylor and Moss, which I assumed was going to happen. This wasn't going to be like a Jonathan Taylor takeover. Moss has been great all year. Like they have potentially like 1-2 punch. Like they're up there in the NFL, right?
Absolutely. And even if
Pittman's great.
even if Taylor isn't like fully, workhorse type back, even if he is still just full 50-50 split with Moss, just the I feel like the morale of the locker room has to get a boost from just like Taylor coming back. Like it's just like
Jags
good
D
vibes.
sucks too.
Dude, Jags D's super overrated. Trevor Lawrence is overrated.
Yeah. I mean, I like Pittman, like I like Moss, I like Taylor.
That
I
was
don't know,
another one.
man.
I also put money on the Colts to win the division.
Yeah, I'd like and this game like definitely means something to Minshew. Like
Shit ton.
I don't like he started his career there. That's where like everything started, where like he went on the scene because like Washington State, he got no publicity because it's Washington State, and this is when the Pac-12 got none. And he exploded on the scene there. This is where Minshew Mania started. Like, and the Jags, they have a shitty defense. Home crowd is very overrated, in my opinion. And division games always usually stay within 4 points unless it's a completely lopsided like matchup, like someone versus the Cardinals. So, yeah, I love the Colts here. Love it.
Hunt brings up a good point. Hard to ride Minshew with that big alien helmet. Pause. I will say this. Minshew, I'd like to see a little more swag. He seems like too mature now that he's like a Colt. Like
kind of like the Colts brand.
Yeah, I guess it's just Colts brand. But yeah, I don't see. I mean, the Colts week 1 they lost by 10, but they outstatted the Jags, and that was with Richardson. Give me the Colts, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing about the swag piece is feel like Jacksonville is like all like just scummy, sweaty Jacksonville with that long hair. Now it's just kind of like Indianapolis, like nicely shaven, getting old, but he's gonna bring back the Jacksonville swag this weekend.
I hope so. Okay. Next game, an interesting game. Saints -2 on the road at the Texans.
So when you look at this game, you're like, this game fucking sucks. But when I was like dissecting this game, it was just honestly pretty interesting to me, and I think my eyes might be on it more than I think. Is it an afternoon game or no?
It is not an afternoon game.
Yeah. I think I think my eyes are. That's why I said that, because I think my eyes are still going to be on it as a 10 a.m.er. Because like the Texans are super interesting to me, and just where the line is, like they're saying it's going to be a close game. Oh, I know we love the Texans, but I really like the Saints here. It's just
It,
one of my 5 picks.
okay, dude. I didn't pick it, but it was almost one of mine. So
Are you
you
on the
go
Saints or
ahead.
the Texans?
Saints.
Yeah, I like the Saints. Really good defense against a rookie quarterback. I think this is his come to earth game. Like finally throws a pick. I think with that like good of a defense, potentially like and Tank Dell's out number one. So I'm not sure how many receivers they have. And like if they lock those up, Damian Pierce this year, like he was unbelievable last year and just haven't seen like too much of him.
Yeah.
And they're playing in a dome, and which like there's no huge favor at home, like especially with the Texans. And I just the Saints, people just want to hate them, but like fuck, dude, it's Derek Carr's like this. And last week he was going like this. Regardless of how bad the Patriots are, going into Foxborough just seems like a big win either way. But I think that defense takes over.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of the win versus the Patriots because like the Patriots might just be a dead team,
Yeah.
dead organization. So I don't really know, but the Saints still, I think it's like 13 out of their last 14 games they've held their opponent to under 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of like what you're saying about this might be Stroud's first kind of not great game. There were some stats about Stroud. So the Texans are like, one of the last teams in running. And then Stroud, even though he doesn't have a very good offensive line, I guess it's just the scheme where he hasn't really been getting pressured that much. But when he has been getting pressured, I guess he's like a bottom, like 3-4 quarterback in the league while
Really?
pressured, which is interesting. And it kind of seems like this might be a game where the Saints really kind of put some heat on him.
Yeah.
And I just could see it being kind of a low scoring. I mean, the Texans defense isn't anything all that great either. It just seems like a super boring like 20-17 Saints.
Yeah, I who knows, dude, but no, I think it's his first come back to earth game, and the Saints D's looked incredible. Shutting out a team regardless of who it is super impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to the Patriots at the Raiders. So I want your thoughts on this one. It's kind of scary how the line has just been moving steadily towards the Raiders here. I think everyone's just like, is this Patriots team dead or not? No one really
Mhm.
knows.
Yeah, I mean, the line moved that way because they scored 0 fucking points
Yeah.
at home. At
And then the
home.
Raiders looked pretty good versus the Packers.
I wouldn't say pretty good.
Decent.
I would. Yeah, I'm like judgmental, but they played super sloppy and did in the first half. But the other big thing is the McDaniels Belichick matchup. Like McDaniels was under him as an OC,
Yeah. Plus Jimmy G.
plus Jimmy G. Like, so I want to say like because this line started at like -1, 1.5.
Yeah.
I think then after that absolute stinker they had last week and moved. But I don't know, like what if the Patriots put together like a pretty good defensive game? And as a Raiders fan, what I've noticed is no matter what team it is, just because of like it's the Raiders, people play with confidence against the Raiders. So like what if like with that said, what if Mac Jones has like an averagely decent game? And if anyone was able to do that and let that happen, it would be the Raiders. Like their secondary still can't figure it out. Like it's still terrible. So the Patriots might actually be able to move the ball. Jimmy G leads the league in picks, which is not good.
Not
I know the
good.
Patriots D hasn't been amazing, but I mean, and at the end of the day, too, this game, even with the Patriots being terrible, this game still means a lot to Belichick, like going against his old coordinator. I know it's the same way with McDaniels going against Belichick, but like if you're going to give me a coaching duel, like I'd take Belichick 100 out of 100 times there. Like McDaniels still has been so bad, dude. There was like towards the end of the half last game, end of the first half, there was like a minute 45 left. and he just forgot to call a timeout.
Yep.
Like those things cost you games, and he's lucky it didn't cost him. And if he continues to make those mistakes, I could see something absolutely weird happening. The one thing is the Raiders didn't have to travel this week. Like they stayed at home after a big win. And the Patriots, yeah, they're coming off a fucking horrible loss, but there's no way they play that bad. I agree with like the line though. I think it'll be a super close game.
So like would you say you just don't really have a lean either way?
No, I'm way too biased.
Yeah, I'm way too West Coast biased. I just would not touch that game. But I am, you know what? It's an interesting 1:00 game.
Yeah.
Another interesting 1:00 game, Rams -7 versus the Cardinals. I don't have a side on this. I would lean Rams, but yeah, just kind of, it's a decent spot. The Rams have been kind of all over the country, and now they get, another week home, another home game. They're going to have the crowd behind them because it's the Cardinals. McVay owns the Cardinals. I don't know if that ended with Kingsbury leaving, but yeah, it seems like the Cardinals are kind of starting to show some cracks, and I don't know. The Rams are just a pretty damn good team. So,
So why did they let Van Jefferson go?
because he's poo.
Is he?
Poo. Yeah, he's poo. It also was like kind of like because they've got Puka as the Robert Woods role, and then they have Tutu Atwell now has emerged as the Brandon Cooks role. So they just, they only like run those 3 wide receiver sets. So Van Jefferson just kind of like, he's just kind of redundant. Yeah. And I think it was like one of those things where it's like you have your fantasy roster and like there's you need to create a roster spot and you like, but you also like kind of don't want to drop them and just have someone pick them up. So you just decide to like trade them for like nothing just to kind of feel like you got some value instead of just dropping them. Like that's basically what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think Rams roll. I mean, do you have anything else?
I have the Cardinals here.
Okay. Also, Cardinals, I forgot to mention Hollywood Brown didn't practice.
He's
possibly out. It looks like it's just going to be DeMarcado as the running back, which I don't know. He could be decent, undrafted, but he looks like he has some juice in the passing game.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't think the running back thing is that big of a deal. No. Like I noticed that last week. It's like all these fucking undrafted guys come in and just are very serviceable. Like the guy for the McLaughlin or whatever, like he came in and looked great.
Awesome.
I think guys like that and this guy are proving this year that that's why you don't pay running backs. Yeah. Like I think they have worse of a case this year of getting paid after this year because this thing continues to keep happening. I think this is the highest over under of the day. It's at like 49. I think this goes significantly under that. And the reason I say that is because an in-division game, they know each other really well. Like they're both like ranked like bottom like 6 or 7 in defense, I think. But an in-division game, like you know each other extremely well. And like the Rams offensive line is super questionable. Like I know the Eagles expose them, but overall their offensive line is extremely questionable, and that can make a game just way closer than it should be. And if someone's getting, and I think this will go to 7.5, if someone's getting 7.5 points and the game is in division, I'll definitely take that.
If it gets to 7.5, I think I'll agree with you. I mean, another one of those like pressure stats, like Stafford is like bottom 6, bottom 7 in pressure, but he's like the number 4 quarterback when he has a clean pocket. I just don't think Arizona is going to be able to heat him up that much. But again, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't take the Rams. It's just
I'm like all like 75% of the cash is on them. I just like an in-division game getting 7 points, and it like Hollywood playing or not is a huge question mark.
Yeah, like, that makes a difference.
That makes a huge difference. But I don't know. I think it'll still be an interest. It's the worst game of the afternoon slate, but I could still seeing the Cardinals. They're gonna play super hard like they usually do. I know we got to stop saying that at one point because they're 1-4. But they're kind of like back to where they should be. Like maybe they have one of those weird surprise games. Everyone's all over the Rams. this might just be. This almost made my top 5. This was number 6.
Okay.
So
good to know. All right. Well, on to Eagles at the Jets. Philly lane 6 over under 41. I'm gonna start by saying I lean Eagles. I'm not gonna pick the Eagles mostly because I'm just a hater. Really, that is the only reason why it's not in my top 5 because it's simply because I'm a hater. But the Jets defense is overrated. I don't think it's as good as everyone kind of narrative wise likes to talk about it. And the Eagles are just kind of rolling.
yeah, this was not one of my picks. This line seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
This makes no sense to me. What, like, I feel like I know it's at the Jets, but fuck. Like, I do that thing where I just guess the line without knowing it. I had like Eagles minus 8.5, which makes me want to take the Eagles, and I am taking them, but it makes me way less confident.
Yeah.
Just because it's a road game, like if I think that and it's a home game, I'll always take that. But just because it's a road game, I didn't know if this guy was. I don't know if you know who is opposite of Sauce.
I
But
don't.
one of their cornerbacks is out, and I don't know if it's that guy or not. I'm gonna look at that before. I'm gonna look at that before the game starts.
Brandon Eccles.
Yeah, this guy Reed is out, and
DJ Reed. He's
ranked 6 or something. Like, so
well,
he's been
here's
really
another
good,
one.
He's out.
They finally got their run game going, but now their left tackle, I forget his name, but he's really good, is out for the year. So
I think the Eagles roll.
Yeah, the Eagle. I know.
I don't see something's up. It's super fishy. Do you know what the fucking over under is in this game?
41.
41. So Eagles win 20-7.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But that
like 27-14, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And don't tell me the Jets are doing good again. He had a weird fucking game against the Chiefs. A weird game where he looked really good. And we're talking about Zach Wilson, obviously. He looked really good in that weird spurt. He looked at best serviceable last week against the worst defense in the league.
Yep.
So welcome to playing a top 5 team in the NFL. Like, he's gonna look fucking terrible, and I think they get spanked.
Yeah,
and
if they don't spank them, then Eagles are truly frauds, even if they win.
Yeah. So TBD on my full opinion on the Eagles after this game.
Yeah, that's
their defense is really good.
It's nasty.
Like, watching them versus the Broncos, it is extremely good.
Yeah,
like, it is top 5 in the league for sure.
It should get weird. It should get really weird.
I think the Eagles are just gonna run it the whole fucking time.
Yep. Like,
just
that's
write off the narrative about the Jets corners and just run it down their fucking throat.
Yeah, like that's what I see with like the over-unders. Like, they're just assuming that like Philly's gonna go on these like 9-minute drives in the second half when they're already up by a couple touchdowns.
And that's what makes the Eagles good, is they're like 2-dimensional team. And if they think that's the move, then they're gonna do it, and they're just gonna be like, I don't care how good your corners are, we're just gonna run the ball.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And it's one of those games where the offensive line takes a bunch of pride in this game. Kelsey gets all the boys together. But we'll see. Hopefully it's a good game, but hopefully it's a blowout because I'm going to take the Eagles.
Okay, another electric game. Lions -3 at the Bucks. I'm taking Lions -3. You know what? Everyone has now come around on like, oh wow, the Bucks are underrated. You know, but I think that the Bucks are now a little overrated, and I think that the Lions. I'm just jumping on this Lions train. Like, wow, like it feels a little like, I'm not going to get blasphemous and say like the Niner thing, but it's like, you know, it's like the Niners cover like whatever 14 out of 15, and it's like at some point on there, you could have said like, oh, I don't want to bet the Niners because I don't want to buy high on the Niners, and then the Niners just kept ascending. That's what I feel like is happening with the Lions. So I want them here. 3. I don't think that the Bake Show can keep up with the Goff show, even though Goff is not as good as on the road.
I mean, are people gonna keep underestimating the Lions?
Yeah.
Again, this year they're 4-1 against the spread.
Dude, and they get Amon-Ra back this week. Laporta
And
looks
it
like he's
doesn't
gonna
matter if
play.
Gibbs is out. He hasn't even been getting the ball that much.
No.
No, I think the Lions roll.
Yeah, what?
The Bucks, what do you mean underrating the Bucks? Like, I completely agree with that. If anything, the Bucks are overrated and we're talking about them too much. Like, I think they're a completely fraudulent 3-1 team.
Yeah, like let's look really. So
they beat the Bears, Vikings, and Saints.
They beat the Bears, Vikings, and Saints. And like I get and that's I'm throwing an asterisk on that Saints game. Because of Derek. Because of Derek.
I mean, the Vikings is a good win. I'll give them that at the Vikings.
It was also like they lost, Vikings turned the ball over.
It's a good win against the Vikings because, like I said, all their games have been one-score games. And like they're not as bad of a team as people think. But okay, then
Vikings had 3,
and then the Eagles absolutely handled them.
Dude, the Vikings had 3 turnovers to the Bucks 0, and they still only won by 3.
Yeah.
So, Lions rolling.
Yeah, I think -3 is bizarre to me, and I think it's a game where people are going to bet the Bucks because they're 3-1, and like they're at home. But I'm not sure how much like being at home matters. Well, they are coming off a bye, right?
They are coming off a bye.
So that might be part of the reason because of the line or like for the line. But like I said, I do think it matters. Like a bye's early in the season, and you said that too. And I think it matters when the team's playing good, like and they're rolling. And I'm not sure how much home turf matters in Tampa Bay either.
No, and like the most you could say is like it matters for like Mike Evans is going to be healthy, but like whatever.
Yeah, no, I this is my favorite bet of the week.
Yeah, I mean they beat the Panthers by 20, they beat the Packers by 14, they beat the Falcons by 14. What the fuck?
I think this goes way over 42 also.
Yeah. I mean also the Lions D is fucking good.
It's good. And Baker's been playing too well.
Suspiciously well. All right, yeah. So
favorite bet of the week though, Lions -3, lock it in.
Okay. Hell yeah. Wait, what have I not? Wait, I'm trying to look at my picks. Okay, Vikings -3, Colts +4.5, Lions -3. Wait, did I bet the Bengals? I'm getting confused. Yeah. Oh, yeah, on the Bengals. Okay. All right. Now, we're on to Sunday Night Football.
Ugh.
Wait, what is Sunday Night Football?
Bills Giants.
Oh, let's like spend like 5 seconds talking about this game.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Daniel Jones is injured. 15 is a lot of points, but we've like how many? Like, just get the Giants off fucking primetime. Like, how many primetime games are we gonna have to watch them lose by 40 points? And the Bills also, like, their defense is gonna want to like make a statement because they lost Milano and they just had a bad loss versus the Jaguar, and they're fucking bullies, bro, and they're at home. Like, they're gonna murder this team, and it's revenge versus Dayball.
73% of the cash is on the Giants. This is my second favorite pick.
Oh my god.
No one's gonna bet. Everyone's gonna get cute and did what I did last week and bet the fucking Giants because they're getting 15 points. But you're gonna fade the public and not bet on the Giants. And the Bills are bullies. And we're not just saying this. Like, when they blow teams out, they don't hold back. Like, they blow teams out. And they're at home on a Sunday night game. That crowd's going to be rocking. And they're going to absolutely stomp them.
They're going to slaughter them. Daniel Jones is injured. Like, what? Saquon's maybe back. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, Saquon's questionable.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
And, like, as shitty as Daniel Jones is, like, Tyrod Taylor's so old and shitty.
He is old and shitty. But it would also be a Tyrod revenge game, and I'd be a little worried. It is their 4th primetime game. Yeah. Like, fucking shoot me in the head.
They had a Thursday night game, right?
Oh.
maybe 2, maybe 3.
Bro, what the fuck?
It's brutal, but again, like fade the fucking public and take the absolute better team. And also, if this was Dolphins seems a little fishy because it's right at 14, but when games are like three or four, like 7.5 or 8, and this is a very rare case that any line is more than 14 in the NFL. But if it was minus 13.5, I'd be like, but minus 15, I think they're gonna fucking win by 25.
Dude, you know that they've only scored one touchdown in the first half this year of any of their
And
games, and it
it
was a
was
pick
the pick
six.
six. Dude, oh man. This is just, you know what's fucked up too is like, I think I forget what I said like a while back, but they predetermined the Sunday night games the
Up
first
until a
like
certain, yeah.
and this is a predetermined game. And well, I understand the New York market, and like there's no excuse for the Giants being on primetime that much because they knew who the team was going in the season for like versus the Jets. Like I understand why the Jets are on primetime game because it's New York and it was Aaron Rodgers. But like what the fuck with the Giants shit? I knew it was gonna happen, but not this much. And honestly, the game's more interesting with Tyrod Taylor than Daniel Jones.
Dude, what is I'm trying to look up what the Sunday night game. Oh, we get an absolute treat next Sunday night, though.
Give me it.
Dolphins at Eagles.
Oh my god.
Look ahead line. Eagles minus 2.5.
Where is it?
In Philly.
Whoa.
So they're basically saying they're even teams. That's fucking sick.
Okay.
Oh, and we get Chargers Chiefs.
Yeah. It gets really good.
Oh, fuck.
We just got to battle through this Sunday night game.
Oh, dude. Lions Ravens, bro.
I can only pray for the average man that you have a fantasy player, but maybe I don't pray for you that you have that.
On Sunday night?
Because I don't really know who you'd have on the Giants. And like maybe you have Saquon playing.
Maybe Saquon.
You're praying that like Diggs. Also, look for Diggs to go off after like being frustrated last week. Yeah. Also, it was great that Josh Allen defended him in the media. I don't know if you saw that. He was just like Diggs ran the wrong route and he was frustrated. Like he's a good player and that's what they do. And then Diggs was like, "That's what great quarterbacks do is they like back up their receivers." So
you love to hear that.
They might yeah, he might explode this week.
Well, dude, did you hear like Josh Allen? Like he said that he couldn't sleep on the plane, so he just stayed up through it.
Really?
Yeah. Like, dude, it was just the all-time situational spot. Like the Bills, even with all those defenders out, I think
bounce back week.
Oh, it's the bounciest week there ever was.
It's like I wouldn't call it a get right game because they're good.
Because they're right.
It's just but it's like just feel better about yourself after destroying the Giants and just
imagine if somehow in some fuckery happens, the Giants have 4 fumbles returned for a touchdown, then the Bills are just 2-3.
Oh, that would suck. Ryan's computer looks like it died, so we have the Monday night game left.
Shoot, I accidentally bounced myself from the stream. Okay.
I was about to end it because we just have the Monday game.
All right. Well, the thing is, I'm glad we still have the Monday game because the Monday game is one of my best bets. +2, fucking write it in stone. Cowboys. Micah Parsons still talking about George Kittle and the fucking t-shirt, and it's an entire week of them getting dragged locally and nationally. They're completely in their head, and they are not they've not moved on. Like they just were traumatized on national television. They were traumatized and they were physically beat the fuck up. Like all of a sudden, Tony Pollard has a shoulder injury. Like it's the classic thing where the Niners just beat the shit out of you. And I wish I had the numbers, but it's something crazy like 2-14 straight up after playing the Niners in the last 16. Some crazy number against the spread too, that goes back a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, I just think everything points to Also, the Chargers coming off a bye. Mike Williams going out was a big deal, but I'm choosing, as a man who has invested a lot of capital in Quentin Johnson, to think that if there was ever a time they were going to incorporate him into the offense, it was going to be during this bye week. Kellen Moore also kind of knows the Cowboys. He knows he's ran against that defense. I just, and also, like, everyone likes to say, oh, well, the Cowboys, they're going to, the whole stadium's going to be Cowboys fans. Yes. But, like, that's every fucking Chargers game. Like, they're used to it at this point. Like, it doesn't even matter. So Chargers catching 2 at home, as long as they don't Charger it up, I think they got this shit.
Yeah. Herbert actually came out and has said that before. He's just like, you guys always say this. Like, I know, and we're used to it. Like, we treat every game like a road game.
Yeah.
So they're not going in expecting a home crowd. So, yeah, I'm tired of hearing that narrative too. If anything, the Raiders aren't prepared for that. And, like, that goes against the Raiders' advantage. So I agree with you about them being in their own head. And I heard, so, like, a lot of times when people play like the Niners and the Chargers, or like the Rams and the Chargers, they stay in LA. Yeah. And I know Dallas isn't that long of a flight, but what I thought is, like, if you keep your team together and it's just like team and family, like, staying together, you kind of, like, distract yourself from, like, all the media, like, completely bashing you. But, like, they're going to get home to Dallas, like, listen to all that shit all week, be completely in their own heads. And when I was looking at this game until you said it, and I was listening to shit today, I thought it was Chargers -2 because that's where I thought it should have been.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love this game too.
Yeah.
And I still had Chargers +2 as one of my bets, or
thinking
Chargers
that it was -2
as one of my best bets.
Yeah, for free money.
And everyone's just like, Cowboys bounce back week, like, they're not going to play as bad as they did. Okay, well, if they don't play as bad as they did, they still could lose by a touchdown because they played fucking terrible.
Yeah, like, the full-blown identity crisis. They also, it seemed like they had a ton of guys going down due to injury.
11 guys hurt after the Niners game, which always happens after the Niners play someone. So 11 injuries, back-to-back weeks of travel. Like, everything seems to be stacked up against them, and they're still getting 2 points against the Chargers.
And, like,
Vegas wants everyone to bet on them.
Yes, and, like, yeah, I know, it's like they won't bring it up to they won't bring it up to the 3, of course, but yeah, they're like, oh, look how they just have to win by a field goal. But yeah, I also think that the Charger, or that Herbert, like, as far as, like, the defense, offense, like, matchups go, like, Dallas is all about just getting home to the quarterback. That's why they didn't have success versus Purdy, but they have success versus all the fucking poo-ass quarterbacks that hold on to the ball. Like, Herbert gets rid of the ball, like, as quick as any, maybe not as quick as Purdy, but he gets rid of it quick as fuck, and he handles pressure super well. So it just, like, everything is pointing towards the Chargers. I don't see how you could possibly bet the Cowboys here, and it'll be hilarious.
Yeah, I literally cannot wait.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be a good game though, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I like the Chargers more after I thought they were -2, and now they're getting. I'm seeing 2.5 now, so I'm gonna buy that to 3 and get them by a field goal.
Tease it even, dude. So so I'm down to do Sunday. I'd be down to just do a stream going over all the games Sunday, like
during the Giants game.
Yeah, exactly, because nobody gives a shit about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
And so, just one more time, my picks were Vikings -3, Colts +4.5, Lions -3, Chargers +2, Bengals -3.
I have Chargers +2.5. I saw it at 2.5. Ravens -4, Commies +3.5, Saints -2, Lions -3.
All right, bang, hell bang. Yeah. Bang, bang.
2 more days.
Time to go take Ringo. Ringo has not taken a shit in a really long time. So.
Oh, man. Good luck.
All right. Later, brah.
Peace.